So we heard meowing outside of our door, and it was this box with these two little babies. I cannot make this up, and I don't know what to do because they're teeny and skinny, but don't have kitty litter, don't have food. I don't know how old they are. So this is happening.
Hey guys, it's Jasmine, and today I'm gonna tell you a little story. It involves two baby kittens getting kicked out of a house, and luckily it has a very, very good ending. Before I get started, do me a favor and go ahead and click that thumbs up below to like this video and hopefully get this story out to a bunch of other people who appreciate a rescue story with a happy ending. I wanted to share this story a lot earlier, but I needed to kind of process everything and cool off a little bit, and now seemed like the perfect time to put this out, which I will explain why at the end of the video. For those of you who don't know, I talk about it in videos sometimes, but I love traveling via house sitting or pet sitting, and that's where you basically, what it sounds like, you go to somebody's house and you watch over it. Usually it's watching over their pets, watering plants, making sure there's a presence there, just taking care of everything while people are away. So I just arrived probably about 3 or 4 days earlier, settled into the house. It was Saturday night around 9 o'clock, and I thought I heard this faint meowing coming from outside, from somewhere. And the thing about Granada is you'll hear meowing a lot and it sounds like it's coming from the rooftops, and that's because it is, because usually it's the dogs on the streets and the cats on the rooftops. So I just thought it was maybe some cats from the rooftop, but of course, being like a cat lady, I was trying to look for these cat sounds, especially when they kept going and they sounded like baby kittens. We were hanging out in the sala, or the front living room, and the front door was cracked open, and I kept hearing this faint meowing. So I decided to look out the front door, and there right in front of the door was this tiny little cardboard box on the ground with holes in it. So it was a little late, and I'd already been kind of warned about people that sometimes, you know, there's bait traps and sometimes people plant things places. That went through my mind for a second, but it was so close to the door that I opened the door and looked in the box and saw these two teeny black baby kittens. They couldn't have been older than maybe 6 weeks. There was nobody around. I brought the box inside and immediately started trying to figure out what to do, because I knew I couldn't keep them, obviously, but I also knew I couldn't just leave it out on the street because they were just way too little. And even though somebody did leave them out there, they at least had enough care in their heart to put them in this box with holes in it and place them out there instead of just kind of tossing them out like garbage. So these tiny little babies were so teeny and skinny and weak, and I have no idea how long they were out there, but they were definitely grateful to be inside. And immediately, as soon as I opened the box, they started being kittens and trying to like jump out and jump around and adventure and explore and wander. But I knew that, first of all, they didn't have that much energy to expend, and secondly, I had to get something figured out. I went on Google and I looked up everything I could on how to handle the situation, what to do if you find random kittens and have to take them in. Another thing about areas like Granada, Nicaragua, is most of the people who have cats there, they're indoor-outdoor cats. So it's really hard to find kitty litter. It definitely wasn't in any stores around me. And even if they do have cat food at like the 2 actual supermarkets in the city, they don't have a high variety of different options. Luckily, we had a can of tuna, so I ended up just putting some of the tuna juice and a little bit of the tuna in these little plates, and I fed it to them, and they just downed everything. Gave them some water, made them a makeshift kitty litter out of dirt from the garden in this Tupperware bin, and basically after cuddling with them and just like making sure they were okay for a minute, I set up a little temporary space for them in an outdoor bathroom of this house. I also made sure to email the homeowner's companion, who was still in the area, to tell her what happened and ask her if she knew anybody who could possibly take these kittens in, or even of an organization. And I was fortunate enough to find Granada Animal Outreach of Nicaragua, which is an NGO or a non-governmental organization that is like a self-made animal rescue of the area. It tries to find homes for animals who have been found or animals who need help. It also funds for medical expenses or food if necessary, and it's totally run on donations and through the work of volunteers. So I found this organization on Facebook and I messaged them immediately, and within minutes, a woman named Kim wrote me back and was thankful that I actually took these kittens in and said that she could come over the next morning and bring me some food to help out because nothing was open. I had no idea where to get food, and I was especially worried because one of the kittens, after a couple of hours, seemed to be very, very just overly weak and didn't want to touch any water, didn't want to touch any food, but I ended up holding her just to make sure that she was okay, and it ends up that she was fine. I guess she maybe was having street PTSD or something, because by the following evening, Sunday evening, she was fine. So I kept trying to write emails, I kept trying to figure out where these cats were gonna go, and the next day, Kim, the woman from Granada Animal Outreach, walked all the way over to the house where I was staying and brought some food for the kittens. She was so sweet, so helpful, said that they posted something on their Facebook page, which they did because I provided pictures pretty much immediately, and that they were really trying to help find these kittens a home. Now, the next day is when things got a little complicated. It was my first day at my Spanish school, and so I went there in the morning and I left the kittens in their little makeshift room in that bathroom with enough water and food. So to maintain the objective of this video, when I got home from school that day, I was abruptly told that we had to go, that we had to leave the house, pack up all of the things, get rid of the cats, and find another place to stay immediately. No warning, no discussion, nothing. I was obviously devastated for a number of reasons. Bring us forward maybe about 15-20 minutes, and I'm walking with a raggedy box of 2 kittens down the street of Granada, Nicaragua, bawling my eyes out, having no idea what just happened or what I was supposed to do. Luckily, right around the corner from this house is Casa Halteva Escuela, a Spanish school. And I already knew a couple of the people there and walked in with my box of cats, and thank goodness, because of the kindness of their hearts, and they already actually have 2 school cats there who you saw in the beginning of this video. They let me leave the kittens there until I could figure out a home for them or something more permanent, and to where they didn't have to be out on the street again. So I walked back to the house, still in shock, with red eyes and a red face, and basically, this was an emotional day for me, and I probably reached my crying quota for like 2 years. So all that being said, packed up all of the things, and luckily, the day before, I had met the owner of a hotel slash restaurant slash homestay, so finding another place to stay was taken care of. One of the reasons I wanted to wait in making this video is because I wanted to make sure that my emotions from the experience had calmed down from the place to where I originally wanted to make this video, which was to tell the story of the time I got kicked out of a house for rescuing 2 baby kitties for 2 days in Nicaragua. There was even some speculation about it, like what if the kittens were planted? What if the homeowner actually found somebody to rent the house during the time period he was away? Honestly, I have no idea. It's all under the table. No poor reviews were left, and I see it as just a lesson learned, like most things. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I truly, truly believe that. And who knows, maybe I was going to be walking home to this house one night and something bad would have happened. I have no idea, but it is what it is. You can't linger on these things. You can't try and justify other people's reactions, even if they seem unwarranted or very difficult to understand. But I digress. So the next day, Kim, the same lady that brought me the cat food and everything, she went and she picked up the kitties from Casa Halteva and took them home to foster them herself, which is amazing. So a couple of days after that, they found an actual foster home for the kitties. And a few days after that, I saw on the same post, because this was all being shared on their Facebook page, that the woman decided to actually keep the kitties, who I requested from the very, very beginning that they be kept together because they were so attached to each other. And one of my favorite pictures is of them just like in this kitty pretzel cuddling with each other on top of the toilet. So by the grace of all that is kitty good, this woman decided to keep the two kittens and actually find another home for the foster cat that was already at her house. And then fast forward again, maybe like a week or so, and I actually saw that she built them this really cool homemade cat tree. That sincerely made me so happy and made my heart so happy, and that made the whole experience that I went through with the house and finding a new place and everything, that made it all worthwhile. So the reason that I decided to go ahead and share this story and make this video now is because about a week or so ago, I happened to see on the Facebook page for Granada Animal Outreach that they were struggling with the funding for food, for the medical costs necessary for certain animals that they rescue, and basically asking for donations in order to continue doing what they do. Needless to say, places like Nicaragua and like this city in particular don't have tons and tons of different animal rescue resources or facilities like the Humane Society. Stuff like that just doesn't really exist in places like this. Granada Animal Outreach actually doesn't have a facility. It's just people that take the time and take the effort and have the heart to help how they can with animals that need homes, that need care. And it's because of the people who decide to create things like Granada Animal Outreach that adorable baby kittens randomly left in the street can have the opportunity to have a happy life in a loving home. Because of this, and because of my personal experience with Kim and the owner of Granada Animal Outreach, I wanted to make this video and share their donation link in the description below. So if you click in the description below this video, you'll see a link to their donation page. It's really important that if you do choose to help them continue helping animals in an area that really, really needs it, click the notes button or the add special instructions text box and make sure that you put for Granada Animal Outreach in Nicaragua via Cat Lady Fitness if you want. The Cat Lady Fitness part, that's really not that important, but it's important that you put for Granada Animal Outreach just to make sure that it gets to the right place. I'll also put a link below to their Facebook page if you want to go ahead and like that and leave them a comment or something, just thanking them for such a great job that they do and for all of the help that they've provided in finding all of these animals homes in an area where they really need it. I'm also going to leave a link below to Casa Halteva School. Not only did they help a crying girl with a box of kittens, but they are a wonderful facility that helps local children get an education. And like many of the organizations in this area, they run solely on donations and solely on funding from people who go there to learn Spanish. So if you're looking for a really good Spanish school for people of all ages, you can feel really good knowing that the money you spend on learning Spanish there is going directly to funding the education for the local children who have the opportunity to go to school there. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this story and found it uplifting and positive, especially considering everything that's going on in the world today. I do really hope you choose to support Granada Animal Outreach and Casa Halteva, because these two places are filled with people with great hearts and great intentions, and neither of them know I'm doing this or making this video or anything, so I'm sure it'll be a lovely surprise to receive any little bit that helps. Please make sure to click that subscribe button below, because I do put out weekly videos, some of which include more sweat than others. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Ooh,
Real quick, grocery store tour guide, holistic fitness starter guide. This is full of a ton of things. It's great for kids. I think it's great for people going off to college. Of course, the holistic fitness starter guide, which is a breakdown of my approach when it comes to feeling your best, feeling your healthiest. It's on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, that's it.